It's This Week in Science, seventh grade. Hey there, Crocker, seventh graders. It's time for This Week in Science, seventh grade edition. This week's focus is on the topic of seafloor spreading. Let's take a look at what we have in store for us this week. Let's start off with seafloor spreading and the screencasts in the notebook. So the slideshow that I put together for you on seafloor spreading. I opened up over here already. Something for you to look forward to is clicking through this. Instead of always just watching the notes, make sure you look at the screencast that we'll be making later on today on seafloor spreading. That's going to be the topic of the week. My second task I came up with this week is the CK12 assignments. I found 5 different CK12s, but don't worry, 3 of them are PLIX. I have 3 PLIX assignments, a self-assessment with our old rules for self-assessment, and the new score, the quiz, which I cherry-picked, I think 26, 27 questions on seafloor spreading, and I want you to get at least 75% or higher to earn full credit on the CK12 assignments. Let's see where the CK12 is. I have it right here. Let me open that up. There we go. CK12, magnetic evidence for seafloor spreading. Seafloor spreading. The hypothesis, this is the read the textbook and answer, do the practice assignments. Seafloor topography and seafloor sonar boats. This is a PLIX. This is a PLIX. This is the self-assessment with the textbook. This is the quiz that I wrote. And this is a PLIX. That is all due Friday. Let's take a look what else we have this week in science. All right. We also have our third thing is the STEMscope app. All right, so let's get behind the hood. Let's look at the engine that Mr. Cheam was always getting into over here. This is our current unit, segment 3. All right, we're in segment 3. We're actually wrapping it up. Natural processes and human activities shape Earth's resources and ecosystems. All right, so we are now learning about seafloor spreading. We already learned about what they called plate tectonics, but the reality is this is poorly named. This should be named continental drift. This is seafloor spreading. And the real plate tectonics lesson actually is over here with geoscience processes. This is really what should be titled plate tectonics. We'll get into this in the following weeks. All right. What I definitely want to do is get into segment 4 real soon. So I'm thinking this is going to be the last week that we're in segment 3. So seafloor spreading is where we're at. We take a look at some of the assignments I placed in for you. We have the STEMscopedia is one of the assignments. The Explorer, we have the TUVA Atlantic Seafloor assignments. And what else did we put in there this week? I can't remember. I get in between my other classes. I think I spared you a lot of the stuff. Let's see, STEMscope. I wrote down what we're doing. Hey, STEMscopedia, content connection video, and I think the concept review game as well is all part of this line here. Let me go back to this thing. 2 more. I think I get this written down so much. 4 assignments. So it's also the concept review game as well. All right. So those are your 4 assignments going at you for the week of STEMscope. Then we have the video questions and linking literacy assignments that I put together over here in the one presentation this time. Therefore, it holds the linking literacy a little bit better. All right, so this is what we have over here for an assignment. All right, it's like this will be an elaborate, most likely. Found a couple videos for you to watch. One is seafloor spreading with Bill Nye, and another one over here is magnetic reversals and seafloor spreading. So those are the 2 topics I ended up finding more stuff on for you to do. And then also we have over here the linking literacy, defending claim with evidence. Big fan of claim and evidence, particularly with this particular topic. As you'll see, this is all about claim and evidence, claim and reasoning. So this ties together continental drift and seafloor spreading. Hopefully you can see there's a relationship between them. You should go back through your notes, go through your notebook, and hopefully you can identify the evidence. And then you can cut and paste examples. What would it look like to cut and paste an example? Well, what you could do is you can go online. You can find continental drift and you can get some image. For instance, you could take something even from my slideshow on this continental drift, some examples. For instance, maybe about correlation of fossils would be a good cut and paste example, or maybe the puzzle fit of the continents. So what evidence are you going to cut and paste into here? It should be visual, by the way. It shouldn't be words. This should over here be a picture, all right, like an image. I wonder if I can somehow write that in there. Cut and paste image. Right? So let's make sure that you understand that it should be an image, not words. The words are here, images are there. All right, so that's this week in science. But wait, before we go away, I got one more thing to say, and that is that there's a PhET lab. So let me put this aside over here. And this PhET, unfortunately, you guys can't get to this PhET on your Chromebooks. The Chromebooks don't support this particular one. Now, my Chromebook does. We have the capacity to hold. I don't know exactly which one this is, what format. I'm sure your home computers will actually do this. I'm sure a lot of you guys have computers at home. Anyway, I can zoom out of the Earth. I can zoom into the Earth, and I can take these readings. I got my toolbox over here. I can read the temperature. I can see the deeper I go in the Earth, the warmer it gets. I can see about density as well. Right? Density, it's really dense in here, and they come out here, it's not as dense. All right, so I can maybe, I don't know if that's glitching or not. I think I lost my density meter. All right, let's come out over here. We got the density. How? Yeah, it's not as dense. Okay, so come out here, dense. Wow, it's really dense quickly. Okay, so let's move out a little bit more. And let's get our density meter back out here. And we can see how the core changes. Oh, look at that, the continental crust. That's the oceanic crust. We can get different views over here. We can see temperature, different gradients of temperature, probably with the different colors. All right. And then we got both. I can actually show both of this as well. The density. All right. So showing density with images. Okay. This is the PhET lab, but the real thing that I wanted to show you, and we'll be getting more into this when we do our Tuesday meet, is this idea of continental drift. So what I can do over here is I'm going to say, let's get a piece of oceanic crust here, all right? And let's get another piece of oceanic crust here, all right? And let's make sure that this is a divergent plate boundary, all right? And let's create new crust. Whoops, I messed that up. Let's try this again. So crust, young crust will go there, and time elapsed, and yeah, we're going to do divergent boundaries, and here we go. So time elapsed. And finally, we made ourselves the conveyor belt that we've been hearing about. All right, so we're actually creating this conveyor belt of new oceanic crust being generated. All right, so the new crust is being generated. So now I can actually change this around a little bit. I could put oceanic crust there. I could put continental crust there. And we could do a convergent boundary. And let's get this thing started. Let's see what happens this time. It's like a conveyor belt. So this is the idea of seafloor spreading and continental drift. This is the whole concept of this conveyor belt of the ocean floor generating new oceanic crust. So we can just reset this once again. Let's pick old crust and new oceanic crust, and let's make sure they're diverging away from each other. Well, just for kicks. Let's see what transform looks like, just for kicks. All right, that's what's, so let's stop that. Let's see what convergent looks like. All right, well, I guess I got to reset. And okay, so let's see what the convergent looks like. We'll be, this stuff here actually comes up in our next chapter. All right, so next week we'll be actually getting into this with convergent. What do you think is going to happen when I push the time? All right, okay, and it looks at what the arrows are doing. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? All right, wow, is that what you were expecting to happen? All right, let's find out Now what's next? Okay, now let's pick out just two different oceanic crossings. There's a lot to explore with this particular activity, and I'm not going to do them all currently. But what's happening at the in the Atlantic Ocean at mid-ocean ridges is this. All right. There's a ridge, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, and then there's a rift in the within that, and that is where the new seafloor supposedly is being generated, creating this conveyor belt that moves the continents, creates new seafloor spreading, and continental drift come together in one super theory known as the theory of plate tectonics.